Hello, hello, and welcome back to Divine Journey 2. Last time we completed Appalachia and its dungeon down here, which let us go to the dungeon in the Dreadlands, and all that stuff let us collect the stuff we needed to make a ritual for blood magic, which finally let us passive LP production with the Well of Suffering here. So now all of our essences come in automatically. All these buffers are totally full. We've got 8 stacks of tier 1, 4 of tier 2, 2 of tier 3, and 1 of tier 4, so that's pretty good. Between episodes, I upgraded our other altar to have a Well of Suffering of its own, as well as a bunch of runes of augmented capacity, so we can actually make slates at a reasonable pace now. I also batched up a handful of them. I imagine we're going to need a lot more demonic slates and everything, so I made a stack and a half of those. That took a long while. I made some mob farms in some of the other dimensions for Blaze Powder, Blitz Powder, and Basalt's Powder. At some point, I'll set up the one in Icica for Blizz, but this is a lot less needed than the other ones are, and were. So I just haven't done that one yet. This is a simple little station for me to basically just request stuff out of my system. I can just put a filter in here, set a drawer here, and it'll fill up real fast. In case you're wondering why it's on Holy Stone, I had a very strange issue where Sanctus wasn't crafting. Because Holy Stone, if you dig it with a Silk Touch pickaxe, does not give you the EMC Holy Stone. As you can see, the EMC Holy Stone is Ore Dictionary Holy Stone. But if you mine it with a Silk Touch pickaxe, it's not Ore Dictionary Holy Stone, which is a very confusing, very niche, and very frustrating problem to have, and one that we no longer have. I also used some ME Spatial IO to take the end portal from the stronghold and bring it here, so now our portals room has another portal in it, which is great, I think, because I don't have to walk that far to go to the end anymore, and I think that's a very good thing. For today, however, I have some what I feel are very reasonable goals. I would like to automate Demon Will production, and thus create our next ritual, which is the 3 or 4, I think, that are involved with actually making these will crystals. After that, I hope that we can maybe go to AbyssalCraft's finale, which I think is like Omothol, if I'm not mistaken is what it's called. And if we've got the time, maybe we can get to Terrasteel production. But of course we have to start with Demon Will, which I imagine is going to, as the docket implies, take a little while. I've set up a little bit of an area over here. We have to have it in the same chunks as our Hellfire Forges if we want those to have automatic will gain from them. So this is just about in the right chunk, almost exactly as this one. Well, not almost exactly, it is the same chunk. We actually have just enough space here to make this kind of downward staircase into this room here, which is where we're going to do all of this. And obviously we're going to pretty this room up a lot more by the end of this episode. I just kind of wanted to get some space here so I know about what I can work with. It's very small, but I really like how this staircase came out, actually. It feels very natural, and it feels really good to walk in here. I'm very happy with it. And then also between episodes, I finished the patterning on the wall here. Anyway, so for will generation, the quest book gives a very in-depth guide on it, with, I believe it was 21 steps. Well, 21 and an optional. This is a lot. If you really want to read it, I would recommend, downloading the pack, really. But I guess you probably can read it if you pause the video at strategic times. I read through it a bit and through some of these ritual master things, and I think I understand how this works. So what we want to do is we want to take this crystallizer, which I think can create crystals, or like these demon will crystals, and we want a ritual to gather demon will. I believe that is the Forsaken Souls ritual. We'll need a Resonance of the Faceted Crystal ritual, say that 5 times fast, which will take our normal Demon Will crystals and turn them into the, colored types. After that, we can place them around and then run a different ritual, which will make them grow and then split off, which will generate us overall more crystals than we put in. I think. Again, this is a lot of steps and a whole lot of text, so I'm kind of expecting me to mess this up at some point. But you know me, I'm too perfect to make a mistake. And anyway, to actually start this quest, we should probably get the things that the quest actually asks of us, so, let's do that. The crystallizer is just a lot of dark steel, a hellfire forge, and a black iron frame, as well as one of the cores we've made before. The demon crucible is much of the same, except instead of a potency core, it's a defensive core. And the will gauge is really easy. Here's our crystallizer, and 5 whole crucibles. What the? 5 crucibles. And a quest, and a little thing at the top left. I guess it's from the will gauge. And we get 6 Hellfire Forges for our trouble, which is not particularly useful, because I've already made enough that I think I'll ever need, but, maybe I'll use them. So I don't know how many ritual stones we need, so I'm just going to overshoot and say, 200. So I recall that one of these rituals requires the big activation crystal, this blue one, So we should probably go do this. So we need to find an environmental accumulator, and I have found one while I was exploring the world way back in the pack a while ago. It's 1800 out here. So we need some concentrated cloud seed to make it a thunderstorm, which is not too bad. If we want just a bucket of this stuff, it looks like the best bet is probably 2 buckets of cloud seed and some clay. And cloud seed's not too bad, it's just clay and ice. We made like way too many of these gold clusters, so we're just gonna make this Scepter of Thunder thing. We obviously do have a weather obelisk, but it's full of liquid sunshine, and I don't really feel like not making it full of liquid sunshine. Plus, again, we've already got all the stuff for this, so may as well. That was a messed up sound. So we need to capture the storm in an accumulator. I don't really know what that entails, and I'm hoping that it doesn't take something that I don't have on hand when I go do that. Oh man, look at how pretty this biome is. This would have been another pretty crazy place to settle down. I love the grass color in Amana Glen. And this crag cliff over here, this blue is really cool. Yeah, but here's what we're looking for though. So if we just do this, it should make thunderstorm. And I don't know how we do anything here. I probably should have grabbed one of these before I left. Yeah, it looks like you put one in here. I really should have just checked the recipe before I left. Oh well. So... oh, okay, I throw it at it. Alright. And you give me this. Does that eat the rain now? Or did it just, like, fill this bottle up? Maybe I should have grabbed a few more of these if that's the case, but if need be, I can make more. So one of the other things we need for the activation crystal, while our runes of mana are crafting, or I guess rune singular, is a life crystal, which takes this crystallized carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, and sulfur. And we have like a couple of these things. We have the carbon, and I think that's it, and a rune of mana. And so for this we can just burn down a lapis, it looks like, which is fine, or any piece of sulfur. I think we'll just do that. I recently threw an excavator on a sulfur vein for that reason. Phosphorus, it looks like our best bet is probably this block of flesh or bone, so we'll just do the block of flesh. Oxygen looks like we have to crystallize down one of these other crystallized things. So ideally something with nitrogen or hydrogen in it. Looks like nitrate would be the one to do. And we can get that from niter, which is good. Let's do that one. And oxygen we can get from methane, which is from a whole unending bowl. That's fine, we actually have a lot of these. Well, I guess that's how we could have got our carbon anyway, but we already had carbon, so it doesn't matter. Now, looking ahead a little bit, I think we do need a lot more of these, but, you know, I'll just worry about that later. The consequences of my actions do not exist in the present. What exists in the present is a blue activation crystal. I almost called this a crystule. Too many tongue twisters today. Either that, or I just haven't been speaking enough. So now let's do all this stuff. So the quest book recommends having our Cursed Earth section about 4 to 5 blocks below everything. Then we'll have the Forsaken Souls ritual. Then about 2 blocks above that, we'll do the Resonance of the Faceted Crystal ritual. And then at some point, we do our platform. So I would like the platform to be here. The problem is, I don't know what the top of the ritual looks like. So we gotta build downwards, which I suppose is fine. So it looks like this is what the Faceted Crystal one looks like. So I think it's fine to build the platform here, maybe? So I think we would be building it like this. So I think I want to have this here, maybe. It feels like a good spot, which means this one goes here, and we should probably clear out some space around this. So I think we want this here. So I guess we'll build this now. And then this one goes here, which seems to interlock like a lot with this one. Hopefully that's okay. And hopefully this is also a big enough space for this. I think it is. Oh, it's trying to place something, but it can't. So that's not a good sign. So I think this is the right size, and I think this is a good spot, and I think this is gonna work. So let's just place all this stuff for right now. And this one at the top we want as the Resonance of the Faceted Crystal. Okay, that's a lot of blocks. It's not a whole lot of moving space to work with, really. And put the crystallizer here, which we'll probably need to move at some point, because we'll need to, you know, touch that block to turn on the ritual. And we want this 4 to 5 blocks down from this stone. So I think like this is right, and then we'll put a drop of evil down here once we're ready. So we should activate our Forsaken Souls ritual right now, which is this one. Yeah, so that's working. In such a circumstance, do we just cap this off right now, honestly? I mean, I guess we can for right now. Yeah, we'll just cover this for right now, and then we'll put down the Cursed Earth. I'll get like an elevator block, actually. That might be a good idea. Yeah, this should be good just in case we need to come up and down for whatever reason. And so I think we can just do this and run away. Well, I hear mobs taking damage. I think that's good. Our LP is still doing all right. That's great. All right, so we need the 5 demon crucibles around here and some tartaric gems with some will into the demon crucibles. Let's put some of these crystals in here because that's what it told me to do. So then we need to actually turn on this ritual. So let's do that real quick as well. And then put that back. And now eventually a thing should show up. Like a little crystal should appear somewhere around here, I think. Aha! Look at that thing. That's pretty cool. Okay, it's supposed to have 6 of these spikes, which it does look like it has. And then eventually this should start growing into the other types. And once those become these full-size ones, I think then we can move them. I'm just playing it by ear here. You know, I've never done blood magic before, let alone this part of it. Alright, so I took a little break, I watched some YouTube, and I figured out my issue. I read the actual description of the ritual in the book here, and it clarifies that these runes here, or these ritual stones with the elements on them, need to actually be exposed, which is why these are here now. As you can see, the red demon crystal is on top of the red stone kind of thing. So we're actually already to step 11. So I think we can just grab this. Whoops. I hope that's okay. We also want one of these ritual dismantlers that the game recommends. So we should make one of these real quick. What? Am I crazy? Why? I feel like it should have removed the stones. Oh, there we go. Okay. So now it wants us to turn these into the placeable versions. Like this? No. It says only a greater or a grand? Actually, no, we can make a greater tartaric gem now, so we should probably do that then. So I guess we're doing this real quick. Using these tiles, we can make our first greater gems, which is nice. So now we should be able to make our placeable clusters out of these. Yeah, here we go. So I think what we want now is we want some drawers. Yeah, so we want each of these drawers to be color coordinated and input into their corresponding crucible. So we'd want Vengeful to Vengeful. And then we want a vacuum chest that can pick up the dropped items that are going to drop eventually and put them into these drawers. So I think in that circumstance, I'm going to put these on top of the drawers just because I think that would look a little bit cooler. Then what we'll do is we'll connect all of these from the underside via some trim to a drawer controller. And that controller will be hooked up to a vacuum chest that we'll put in a little bit. So none of these conduits should be connected to anything else. But this should be the setup, so we just pull and put it into here for whenever we need it. And I think we net a positive when we do this. For clarity, I mean net a positive amount of our will crystals. If you're confused, don't worry, so am I. So next we're making another ritual for a crack of the fractured crystal below the gathering of Forsaken Souls. So I think we should just be able to place these. Yeah, it doesn't look like it was upset with me. And then we start it. Yes, so it did like that. So now we can break these torches and get out. We'll turn night vision back on so we can see. Yeah, I hear mobs taking damage, so that's good. So then we also need to place down these clusters. So I'm going to start with just this one. We'll put it here. Maybe I should have put it down somewhere else just to start. Yeah, it doesn't seem like that's currently growing, but that might just be because there's no will of that type here, maybe? Let's try this one. I guess for the time being, I can make more of these, so if I put it here, and that's fine. Okay, no, so this is the same shape even here. But it did go down. Ah, okay, yeah, see? So maybe it just has to be closer to the ritual, which would be fine. So if we put these in here, it should bring these into this again, which takes us to 63 and starts popping more of these off again. Yeah, so now we've gotten 4 instead of the 2 that we just put in. So if we put in this 4 now, we should get 8 before having to do anything again. Yeah, it's already going pretty well. Okay. So maybe it just has to be closer, and that's our problem with this one. I wonder if I can get a cardboard box. Save me, cardboard box. Cardboard box, save me. Yes! Oh, I love you, cardboard box. So now we can put this into here, these into there, and we should be getting a lot of these now. Maybe I should kind of have a better spot for these, if they do need to be like right here. Man, this is so much fun. I love just getting free stuff that just pops off and says, here, come take me, come take me. I guess I'll play with the distance on these with the cardboard boxes and see how far away I can actually put these. I'll play with the positions of these a little bit, and I'll come back once I've decided on something. Alright, so here's, I think, what I've decided to go with. Again, we're going to make this room look a lot prettier shortly, or maybe later, and you'll just see it one day. But we've got these crystals. These are just about as far as I could take them, really. Yeah, we have this platform here just because they're raised and they look a little nicer. We've got the drawers here, we've got the crucibles above them, and then we've got this down here if we ever need a jump scare. I think it works. I think we've reached the point where it's self-sufficient. We have a ranged collector down here because I was getting tired of watching it all drag towards, and also it was getting stuck on the crystals sometimes, so instead of dragging it to places, let's just and grab it. I think what this should also let us do is, yes, it fills up our Tartaric gems using just what's in the air. So provided we don't run 0 on these, we don't actually have to fill up our Tartaric gems ever again. We just need to make sure we don't run 0 on the Demon Whale crystals. So we'll probably fill these up like once, manually, once we hit like the greater or grand and stuff, just so we don't like kill our backlog of these. And that should be good. Step 21 is kind of discussing how to automate the Hellfire Forge so it can like fully passively craft stuff. I don't understand why. Like, I don't know if I'm just crazy, or like you can just say don't extract Tartaric gems, or only extract the things that I actually want to extract. I feel like this is an overly complicated solution to this problem. Either that, or I'm just like missing something super important and I don't realize it. At which point, you know, it'll come and bite me in the butt and I'll figure it out. So now that we have these crystals, we can make more of the crystallizers. Which definitely shows that I should have passive Dreadium, and I probably should have done that a long time ago, given I imagine we're going to need a lot of these. Maybe not like a lot, but, you know, like 10 maybe, 8, 100. I don't know. Yeah, we'll do that once we need them, but for now, it looks like we're doing Electrotine. I'm going to let this all run for a while, though, before we do anything like that, just to make sure this is all good. And then I'll also upgrade all of our Tartaric gems as well. So I'll see you in a little bit. So it's been a while since the previous clip. Well, not like a while, like, you know, a day. I did some building off camera. I know the whole bit is I did some mining off camera and you come back with 20 quadrillion diamonds, but I feel like this is kind of a cinematic parallel. We added another tree here. It seems my toying with blood magic has split the world in twain. I'm kind of used to it at this point. Anyway, speaking of ruining the environment with blood magic, we need to start calling down meteors. Also between cuts, I swapped out the Cursed Earth down here for Buffalo. The reason for that is because all of my mobs were despawning whenever I would be too far away, so the Buffalo won't despawn. We have a lot of crystals backlogged just because I spent a lot of time doing that, obviously. I think I want to put a second spawner in there because the Soul of the Gathering of Forsaken Souls ritual mentions that it likes there being a variety of mobs. So a second or third spawner will be very, very good in there. I'll worry about that later though. Oh, glad I looked up. Check out this. We already got meteors falling from the sky. It's just, you know, looks a little different. I wonder if this one's got Electrotine for me. So for context, in case you're not super familiar with, you know, Divine Journey 2 at this point, our next step in progression is to do a Mark of the Falling Tower ritual, I think it's called, which will summon a meteor with ores in it. In particular, we're calling down for an ore called Electrotine, which we cannot get anywhere else, and that's what we need to progress. Another Lucent Scroll. So obviously summoning a meteor is kind of destructive, so we want somewhere not necessarily like super out of the way, but, you know, somewhere a bit different. I think maybe over here would be a pretty cool spot for it. It's kind of on top of this mountain, and that would be kind of neat. I'm really thinking about actually putting it over here instead, but I feel like this hill is a bit too sloped. I'm like really tempted to like put it like right here though, or like right outside that window. I feel like that could be really cool, but it's honestly a really tough choice. Like, it shouldn't be this tough of a choice, but this is the problem I always have when I'm trying to add anything to the base. I'm like, ooh, where do I put it though? There's so many cool places I could put it, or, you know, what if I want to use that space later? Like that, I know I'm never going to use that space later, probably. But this, you know, I might use for something, but also what's cooler than like the meteor summon ritual? Like, that's kind of awesome, right? I need to build some like stilts for it though. Let me do a little bit more planning and visualizing, and I'll come back with an actual decision. Yeah, I feel like this is the spot we're going to go with. I do like the concept of having it over here, but this area is a bit too sloped and it'd be a bit too much terraforming for my taste. So we'll just do it over here. I like having walkable bases normally, and I was kind of wanting to have a little switchback from over here up to here. We'll probably do that at some point for a different building or room or whatever, but that leaves me with the problem if I don't know how to get here besides flight. They'll figure it out. So now that we've actually placed a ritual, what's very important is that we place a block of obsidian a bit above this. The quest book recommends it, and also, I recommend it, so that's why you should really do it. About right there should be fine. The reason is when we call down the meteor, we don't want it to blow up the ritual, which would be bad, because then we'd have to make all the ritual stones again. So the quest book tells us for specifically to use a potency core, then probably to turn off the magnet. So you put a potency core on top of this, and then do that. With 1,000,000 LP in the system. We might not have 1,000,000 LP right now. We sometimes have 1,000,000 LP. Oh, there we go. So a meteor should just fall from somewhere. Like that. And it looks like we are very lucky to have dodged that, so I guess I picked a good spot for that piece of obsidian, huh? So we can vein mine all this stuff and silk touch it and all the like. So I'm just going to get rid of all this stone real quick and see what our spoils actually entail. So I think it was a pretty good haul. That's like 10 stacks of stone and this weird blue stuff too. Jokes aside though, it looks like we got about 76, which is pretty alright. A little over a stack is not bad. Oh, +1. Now we can use something like a builder to automate this in the future or something similar. But right now what we care about is just processing the stuff. We don't need like quadrillions of this, at least not right now, probably. Looks like pulverizing or sag milling, etc. can get us 4, or we can tectonic initiate it for 6, which is probably worth our time. The unfortunate thing about the initiator is that I don't think we actually have this in ore processing. We could probably replace the setup entirely with a tectonic initiator. The one thing we'd be missing out on is processing cinnabar. For this we use the anodizer to get 2 quicksilvers. We can then just have a separate area where we put gelid cryothium in this, and then we can smelt the cinnabar into quicksilver and get a 4-to-1 rate instead of a 2-to-1. And that's probably what we should do in the long term once we start needing a lot of quicksilver. But at the same time, we also have 28,000 already, so maybe that's fine. Anyway, I think we're just going to tear down this system and replace it with a initiator. So I think this is fine now. We should just be able to chuck all this in here. And then we probably also want to filter our Electrotine here. We also no longer have a place to process our destabilized redstone, so destabilized redstone and cinnabar will start backlogging for a bit. We also did this and this and this. Now that we have our bluestone, or Electrotine, we can go here for these angelic silicon crystal mixtures. For these we need our various colors of will crystals, which we have a boatload of, as well as these energized, infused, and electrosilicons. Each of these are silicon, like little wafer things, combined with either 24 redstone, glowstone, or electrotine, and then you just smelt them into the energized versions, or whatever. So for these wafers, we need to cut silicon boules, probably best is with a sawmill, and these boules are made with the sandy silicon compound, which is made with a bunch of sand and silicon. We're going to upgrade our silicon drawer to a compacting one, and then now we need a place to do all this silicon stuff. I'm thinking we might just take over here, honestly. It's a little bit of a mess back here, but it's fine. Again, without this cable, it looks, marginally better. Here's what we came up with. We've got a sequential fabricator requesting all of the sand and silicon, going into a furnace to smelt the boule, into a sawmill to slice the boules, into this drawer here for all the sliced silicon. This framed trim puts it up to our ME network, so it's on a storage bus. We then request redstone, silicon, and the other 2 into each of these induction smelters. These auto output down below, into these drawers. These are all downgraded to 1 stack because these are kind of expensive, and I don't think we need like a lot of these right now. This is also like a train wreck back here. Like I cannot do this ever again. This was a lesson well learned of what not to do. This should actually let us make our angelic silicon crystal mixtures now. Make like 4 to start. I don't know how many of these we need actually. We need a block, so we need 9 of them. So let's make another 5. There we go. So now we're going to make Shagaroth's Rillian Gateway Key. Let me actually double check I'm pronouncing that right. Google tells me that there is actually no human way to pronounce this word, which I think is actually very valid. I think that's pretty reasonable. It's really out of me. How do you pronounce that? Let me know in the comments. I'm just going to do this like every video now. I hope you guys get used to that. Anyway, we need this, which we just made, this, which we have already gotten, this, which we've made before, and this, which I think we made once or twice. We need 9 crystallized mana, which is mana diamonds or runes of mana. So I guess we're doing runes of mana. We'll just burn down 3 of these. And with 1 demonic key, an angelic catalyst, some mana for energy, and a plate to hold it all together, we have Shagaroth's Rillian Gateway Key. Which means we are officially in Chapter 18. Before we get too ahead of ourselves, we need to get some Athaxium. We need a blood magic bound pickaxe for this. So we gotta go back to Chapter 17. Ashes, pick, bind it, and a bound pickaxe. We certainly want to throw efficiency 5 on this thing though, because I have seen what Athaxium takes to dig. and I don't want to wait around that long. So it looks like to start, we just need to get Athaxium and the skin, which we'll get from rending with our staff. And then past that, it'll probably tell us what to do. That's a scary looking portal. I can see the screaming souls of what appears to be a reused soul sand texture in there. Oh, this place is scary. Whoa! Okay. That's a big Shoggoth. I don't like that guy. He looks kind of scary. Is that still a lesser one? Because he does not look very lesser. I would hate to see a full-size one of those guys. Bro, what kind of spawn is this? Why does this keep happening? Are you for real right now? Like, every spawn for a dimension besides, like, Appalachia has been out in the middle of nowhere. Terrible. So unfortunate. So I think the main thing we need to do is some rending for the skins and stuff like that. And the Athaxium, at least for right now. We got some kind of blacksmith over here. Liquid antimatter, that sounds scary. Remnant. Dude, you got, like... you got feet like the Pukeko bird. What, you're a little forward, aren't you? Oh, look at all this stuff. Whole bunch of these crystals down here. Oh man, there's a ton of these crystals here, actually. Let's see if I can't be a little cheeky with it. So what I would want to do is I would want to take basically all of these, right? And these are all crystal clusters of some variety. So if I were to say, come into the config here, and say something like this, with an asterisk for anything, and some meanie who keeps trying to hit me, and then, oh, plop this here, set this here, and run it. Oh yeah! That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, most of these I don't recognize, but I saw... Oh, those are Corallium. I thought those were mana ones. I think the green ones are pretty good. This methane. I think those are good grabs. So now that we've got Athaxium, we can make this engraver with that spare Darksteel anvil we actually pulled from Appalachia. That's kind of nice. And these coin engravings, which are neutral reagents, that's pretty easy. And then we can engrave some coins, I guess, which I think is used for probably this. Skin of Omothol, looks like we just need the Omothol ghoul flesh as well as the essences, so I guess I'll just kill some mobs for a little bit. What are you guys? Minions of the Gatekeeper. I mean, you all look pretty cool. Do you drop anything cool? Or do anything besides just walk at me? Eldritch Scales. Did you get me an Athaxium? Yes, you did. Normally these ingots are life crystals and bricks. Oh man, that would be terrible. Per block? I need several of those. Many of those. Yeah, one of you guys is for sure coming home with me. These banners are pretty cool. I'm gonna take one of you. Oh, we got like a temple here. Oh, hey, one of these engravers. I'll take that engraver. Pardon me. Ooh, a Dreadlands energy pedestal. That's pretty good too. Oh, that's enough flesh for our first trip. Let's head back. Put up these banners just to show off that we've been to places. That's cool. They're like blue eyes instead of the red eyes. So we can take our Omothol essence, surround it with this flesh for the skins we need. We need 4 of these for our Necronomicons. Then we need 16 coins, as well as 48 Athaxium. We have all of that. I just need to see what these coins take to make. These blank coin engravings aren't too hard to make. And we can surround them with shadow gems to make Azathoths, which seems to be the cheapest engraving. And then these coins are Praesidium and some other coin. So let's do this and this. Let's do Enderium coins, just because they look cool. Looks like we need 4 per 4, and we get 3 per ingot. And then we just sit here and let it engrave for a little bit. While those coins are engraving, let's chuck this in here. And we should be able to just spawn all these guys now for all the Athaxium we'll ever need. There they are. Filter those, and the Eldritch Scales. We've got all our coins now to upgrade our 4... Oh, it doesn't... Oh, no, it did save. Okay, good. I was like, did it not save any of that PE? No, it did. So now we can upgrade our staff again to super cool tier with some Omothol stone, ghoul flesh, and shadow gems. We'll probably do this once we go back. And we have to fight the Gatekeeper at 0-0. We'll go in. We can perform some rituals if we want. Oh, that's handy. And we go up to the 2nd floor, find Jizahar, and fight him. Wait, like the guy? I think we have a statue for him, right? Once he dies, I'll pull you in and explode. Stay away from the explosion, and then we'll get his item. Alright? Potion of Antimatter. No idea what that means. I will be throwing it at Jizahar. That looks ominous. Is this what I'm looking for? Oh, it's got the icon on it, so probably. So he's on the 2nd floor. There's a ritual room around here. Yeah, here we go. Get out of here. Don't you see I have no time for you? Oh, but I do have time for this. This is cool. This looks really cool. Alright, so it said he's upstairs. Oh, you look pretty cool. Hello, sir. Ooh, I like your staff. Can I get one? Whoa. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, I don't like the look of that. I don't like the sound of that. I don't like the feel of that. What do you mean it's pulling me? What? Oh, that took a really big turn. Okay. I gotta like really angle that shot if I want. Whoa, 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 be cool, 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 be cool. I don't know where you cast that. I don't like that. What? I mean, I guess I probably should have expected that to do nothing to him of all people, right? I'll be honest. Whoa, nope, 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 nope. Oh, jeez. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's got some pull to it. Oh man, that's huge. What's going on? Where'd he go? There he is. Definitely want to watch out for when he casts those spells. That is scary. Oh man, he's got some real kick to that too. You gotta teach me that, dude. He just kind of smacks me with his stick. That's a scary one. I'm starting to recognize his little chants now. Yo, Omothol is not too bad. That's just a knockback, but the one that starts with N is, you know, the black hole. Oh man, it's got some drag to it, does it? That's fine. Shove me in a corner all you want. Oh wow, I'm actually kind of hurting. He's got. I'll be real. He's got some. Okay, run away. He's got some fight to him. He took about like 5 of my hearts, even through the meat feeder and the ender armor. He's got some fight in him. I'll be honest. He's got some game. Dude, his projectiles are going back in there. You killed him. Or I killed him. I can't kill a great old one. I killed a simulacrum, a puppet. Something that escapes a human when they delve into madness is the concept of reality. An example of this is me believing I've slain a great old one. A sane person would realize that after going such a powerful thing is nothing but death. But my mind has been twisting itself harder than the knowledge I've gained. The fact that I thought for a second I had killed him has shown me how insane I've become. His readings have led me here. No, yes, his have led me here. So I would want more knowledge, that is true. I don't want death. The last power, give me the answer. If you survive the blast, I was very far from it. This mere fragment of my being. I really hope that didn't fall into the void. Okay, good. That was sick. That was actually super sick. That was a cool fight. That was a really cool fight. Alright, let's get out of here. Alright, so now I can make the Abyssal Nomicon, which is actually really easy. Looks like we're only going to get the one of those, though. I don't know how we could refight him, but maybe you can. So next, we fill up the Abyssal Nomicon fully. Once we do so, jump into the void in Omothol to go to the Dark Realm. And we can right-click with the key in the air, right-click on the ground to make a portal. I'll just use our Dimensional Crystal. So we have one final objective, summon and defeat Sakthoth, Harbinger of Doom. That cannot be cooler than the guy we just fought, like, you gotta be real. So 9 Dark Athaxian bricks, rip it out, scroll to the last page, and the Ritual of Shadows. After summoning and defeating him, he will drop his sword, which looks also very cool. By slaying monsters with the sword, it collects souls to get stronger. Oh, that's actually really interesting. And we can remove the souls to progress. Wait, how full is this? 100,000? Oh boy, okay, that's gonna take a bit. Well, let's do some raiding ahead. We're gonna get these souls of the Dark Realm, which I do want sparks. I want a bunch of these sparks. So what do we need for methane? We need methane clusters. We need crystallized methane for those, which we can get from hydrogen and carbon of really any variety. I guess we'd have to use the shards, or I suppose we could use the clusters. Blocks of coal would do it. Yeah, but that doesn't really give us hydrogen. We could use water. That seems pretty good. So we want to crystallize water buckets, I guess. So we need 1 for hydrogen, 1 for carbon, which I think the only thing we can really do for that is going to be coal. Yeah, pulverized coal, or normal coal will get us to the standard crystallized stuff. So we need 2 crystallizers, a crafting step, yeah, to actually get us the methane, and then compacting drawer, and then transmutate. Well, transmute, not transmutate. So transmuter, or transmutator, and 2 crystallizers, I think that was, right? So it was like a crafter or 2. The crystallizers are not too horrible. We can do that. And the transmutator is just going to be liquid corallium, really. Oh, I forgot we had a drum full of liquid corallium. Well, that's handy. Let's make our 2 crystallizers. I think that's a quest, right? Yes. These in, and that's our transmutator. And now we need somewhere to actually put this stuff. Maybe down here? This feels like alright. It's around AbyssalCraft. We should probably take a second to actually figure out if these things are, like, sided as well. Like the blood infusers were. Let's get some chests and some conduits and see what these like. Can you take blaze rods on the bottom? Yes. If I offer you infinite blaze rods, is that a problem? You put it in the output slot? What? That feels wrong. I suppose we could use a limited item filter, that's fine. What about in the top? Can we insert stuff in the top? Yes. If it fills up, where does it go? Because apparently these like overflowing to weird places. Nothing. Okay. What about the sides? Do we have any issues with the sides? We do put it in the bottom, or I guess the fuel slot, and it does not overflow. So here's a question, because I know this overflows if it goes here. It goes into the output slot if you come from the bottom. Can I output from the bottom? Yes, we do output from the bottom. So output bottom, fuel sides, input top. Okay, that's reasonable. How about this one? So for this one, we just want input and output. Or, yeah, this is also just like a standard furnace. So we put in from the side. You just go to the bottom? Yes, you do go to the fuel slot. Do you overflow anywhere? Do I need to worry about that? No. Okay. I assume you also input from the top, same as. I'd be quite surprised if you didn't. Yes. And so I'll assume it's output from the bottom. So what I'm getting is these are just furnaces. These are just treated as furnaces, basically. Side for fuel, top for input, bottom for output. Okay, that's pretty reasonable. So here's the setup we've got so far. We have 2 crystallizers here. This one is taking coal to make carbon. We're inputting coal from the top, blaze rods from the back, extracting out the bottom into this compacting drawer so we can have access to the clusters, shards, and crystallized versions. Same thing here with the water buckets. It gives us the bucket back, actually, so we can just extract the empty bucket from the top here, put it into this fluid tank, which refills it and puts it back in. We just have empty and filled buckets whitelisted for only extract empty and only insert filled. And same thing for the crystallized hydrogen down here. To make the methane, we're just going to use a crafter of some variety, and then we can have that output into another compacting drawer for the cluster, which we can transmute after that. So we'll put that like here probably. We'll actually just use a sequential fabricator. These are a bit easier to deal with than crafters are sometimes. Plus, I don't imagine we need to be making these particularly fast. And we're making our methane. We don't have a ton right now, just because this had filled up in here. I'm thinking about using a trash can for these oxygen shards, but I might just use a compacting drawer with a void upgrade on it and call it good. Might be worth it. In fact, I think that's probably for the best. Yeah, it's not super duper fast, but it works, and it's passive, and that's probably what matters the most, I think. So next we need a transmutator for our crystallized methane clusters. So this will just be some more filtering on a machine that's pretty easy. Just more furnace stuff, basically. And here's our first piece of methane already. We're actually a good bit ahead of where we need to be, which is good. The problem is, I'm not sure if our Abyssal Nomicon full. Let's check. Oh boy. Okay. That's gonna take a short eternity. Yeah, all our other Necronomicons are full. We just need to wait for this still. Man, that's slow. Well, another thing we can do in the meantime is while we wait for all of that to go, one of the things I actually really wanted sparks for is to really bolster our mana battery storage capabilities. So let's make another, I don't know, 23 mana pools? I feel like that sounds pretty good. What's so disappointing about this is that it's not even going to take that long. Like, look at this. I can just make 23 of these. Come on now. We're going to set these all here. What we're going to do is, once we get sparks, and in case you're not familiar, sparks are basically like a different way of transferring mana instead of these spreaders. I believe they're a lot more short range, but they're really fast, which is the main benefit of them. Also, you can do some smart networking with them. What I plan to do is we're going to have what's called a recessive spark here, which will basically make it so that this will try and transport mana to any area that has a spark that isn't recessive. So we'll have some sparks here, here, and here. And then we'll have this one, which is going to be our main IO area, have a dominant spark on it, which basically tries to take from anywhere with a spark that isn't dominant. It'll make sense once you see it in real time. Basically, what this will just let us do is, without having to use a ton of mana spreaders and splitters, we'll just have like a boatload extra mana pool capacity. The main thing that concerns me is how much methane we're going to need, because it's going to be a lot. I don't know how long that's going to take. Probably less time than it'll take to fill up our Abyssal Nomicon, though. Yeah, I'm honestly thinking about adding a second water bucket crystallizer. In fact, I think I just will. I've got nothing else to do. I might as well kill time, right? Yeah, so that should double our methane production. But that is still glacially slow, so I guess we'll just build a backlog of methane in the meantime, and I'll, I don't know, either idle or do some building or something. Okay, that took a brief eternity. I upgraded all of our stuff to Omothol tier. I was using this relay to basically drain all of these pedestals into this one. Our methane setup is up to a stack now, which, if you've been seeing how slow this thing is going, is a really rough way of indicating how much time it's been. But we have our full Abyssal Nomicon, so, you know, that's what matters. So we need 9 Dark Athaxium bricks, and then the stuff to make the Ritual of Shadows. We need some Corrosive Will crystals, an Oblivion Catalyst, a Rune of Winter, a Block of Athaxium, and Inverted Potentia. Inverted Potentia, we need to go back to another accumulator with Thunderstorm. And the Rune of Winter is our first tier 2 rune from Botania. So let's see if we can actually make one of these. Actually, I don't think we can with this current setup, which leads me to really want to redesign it. I saw a really good redesign in Anti-Axolotl's video of just using 2 mechanical users, because you can apparently just place stuff on the runic altar, like that, and it just works. So I think that's what we're going to do instead. We're just going to rip all this stuff out and appreciate what it did for us, but ultimately it's not the best option for us. So what we're going to do instead is actually exceedingly elegant, especially with Phantom Face. If this works as I hope it does, we should be able to just request a Rune of Winter, and it should just dump everything into here once it's all ready. And I think this will just right-click onto the altar, like this, yes. Oh, I guess I should probably move it to the side, because, you know, it's in the way, isn't it? Then we just have to add this to the filter of the ranged collector. Now that we've got everything, we go through the Wasteland, through the Dreadlands, through Omothol, into the Void, to the Dark Realm. And it is quite dark here. You can see because all the mushrooms are growing. Now I don't know if it's important, but I guess I'll label where I fell in from. There are enemies around, but I don't know what enemies those would be. Oh, they're just shadow monsters who are like totally invisible. Let's make a little pillar here, make a little platform. Set down some ritual stones, make it, place it, and so he shall come. Wow, they really like Hashdur that time, I guess. They chanted him 3 times and that was it. Oh, I'm blind. You are a blaze? Where are you? He bounces quite a lot. Oh, actually, I can see his shadow against the sky. Oh, he's completely invisible. He's just completely invisible besides the sword. Actually, I'm kind of juggling him. Check that out. Check me out, y'all. Boom! Oh my god. I'm crazy. This is gonna be so... I'm gonna have the most fun in the world right now. This isn't hurting him. Okay, but that was very fun. Oh, there he is. Oh, I guess I should probably get on the ground and make it a fair fight. I mean, if he doesn't have AoE attacks, then I shouldn't either. He kind of looks like one of those Spider-Man costumes. I don't know which one, but definitely one of them. Yeah, that kind of sucked, dude. That was pathetic. Hey, where's your sword? I mean, he didn't say anything important. Hey, buddy, where's your sword? Am I crazy? Did I blow it up? Where is it? There's nothing here. He died, right? Like, he died? He didn't have, like, an ending speech. I feel like he should normally have one of those. I would be real. I would go and do this again, but I don't want to wait for 100,000. So, like, if I didn't get it, I'm just spawning him in. If that's cheating, I'm a cheater. You all know I can do this again. That stuff was cheap. That was off-camera behavior. All that, I can do it again. But I just don't wanna. Because of this. I will accept no criticism. Given one of these guys, singular. I was wrong button. You know, now that I'm like fighting him like legit, I have less of an appreciation for him now. Oh, maybe what happened is if I was shooting those guys, those little thing that spawned, because it seemed like I got the sword pretty late there. Maybe it dropped from one of the guys that exploded out of him. Oh, we will destroy the dupe items that we got besides that. I do want to keep one of these orange hearts, though. I did earn that one legit. Half these shards of Oblivion are probably not mine as well. And the Shadow Gems and Sulfur, I guess. Like, who cares? Yeah, you can take all the shards, actually, as, like, attacks. Alright, so this sword looks awesome, and I kind of want one, and I might actually go fight that guy, like, a third time, if that's the case, because this is a really cool sword. It also deals, like, a lot of damage, and supposedly can level. If I read correctly, collecting souls will get stronger and stronger. If this is, like, a 50 damage sword, I might keep it. Or I might make one of my own. Actually, no, I would just use this to, like, fight things. And then I would just take out the souls when I need to. Well, speaking of the souls, let's get reaping. I believe we also need a soul extractor or something. Yeah, so we need some Omothol souls, which are just stuff. Dark cores and magical cores. Alright, that's not too bad. We'll just farm some mobs around here for a little bit. Yeah, even unenchanted, this sword packs a punch. Alright, we got 115 souls. That was fun. Let's go home. Honestly, that was kind of neat, just mobbing for a little bit in a big old field. So while we're home and waiting for about 10 seconds for that thing to craft, let's see if we can't enchant this thing. Oh, what? Why not? Can I put it in here? How about here? Huh. Can I put it in an item repairer? Oh, that works at least. Man, I kind of wanted to use this, though. What a bummer. Definitely holding on to that. I want to see if I can't do something with that later. I want to think about ideas and plans. Oh, we can make this now. I guess let's rip out, like... I mean, let's do, like, 100, right? Like a whole stack? May as well. I got the stack. May as well use the stack. So now we can do sparks. So 4 methane and a soul per spark. Our grand total is 77. Well, it'll have to do. Let's start with 8. I don't know why the sounds are bugging out so much. Very strange. So now that we have these sparks, there's a few things I want to test with them. Okay, so we can't do the augments yet, because the augments need this chapter done. Why do they tell you about spark augments here if you need to get to here before you can even do it? And it's like, it looks like it's on the way, right? Like, that's so mean. That's so cruel. I mean, it's not that cruel. It's not that much more playtime, but, like, you know, I can't do that today. Well, at the very least, we should do at least Terrasteel, because I want to. So per agglomeration plate is each of these tier 2 runes, a set of potency cores, and some dark soul. It's not too bad. Not at all. Not with the runic altar upgrade. Oh, it's an eclipse day. That's a little ominous. I gotta stop looking at that with white text on screen. So I forget exactly how we work the sparks, but I know we need mana seal, mana diamonds, and mana pearls. And if we do something right, eventually it makes Terrasteel. It'd probably help if we got the pattern right. I don't know. Maybe it needs to be only one at a time? Yeah, that was it. Oh man, this is, like, slow. I forgot how bad this is. Like, unless you're, like, feeding this thing, I forgot this is slow. I wonder if we put some sparks on these ones, if they're close enough. Oh yeah, they are. Alright. Alright. Now we unlock a lot of stuff for that. But we are way overdue on time. We can, however, tick off these 2 things off our docket, which means we did everything we wanted to today. We automated our Demon Will production of all 5 colors. We made the Mark of the Falling Tower ritual to collect any amount of Electrotine we may need in the future. We went to Omothol in the Dark Realm and finished up AbyssalCraft. And we even got our first pieces of Terrasteel. Next time I hope to do a lot more in Botania. I mean, that's obviously what's coming up next, right? But also there's a few things that I want to take a look at in Botania. A few things that I think might do something cool that I would want. It's all speculative, of course, though. I hope to catch you next time when we do all that, though. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.